It's been 3 weeks since Hamas launched an unprecedented attack on Israel, killing 1,400 people. Israel has retaliated with intense bombing on the Gaza Strip, which the Hamas-run health ministry says has killed more than 5,000 people. Western leaders have been visiting Israel to show their support for the country, and to ask Israeli leaders to adhere to international law and protect civilians in Gaza. A ground invasion of Gaza is expected, though there is no clear indication of when that might happen. The situation on the ground remains fast-moving and complex. Our correspondents, many currently in the region, have attempted to bring some clarity to the picture by answering questions submitted by BBC readers. You can read their answers below. How likely is a larger war? Richard Jones asks, what is the likelihood of a larger war in the Middle East, and would that be of great concern to the Israelis? Paul Adams, our diplomatic correspondent reporting from Jerusalem, says, it's clearly in the minds of everyone, and why a host of foreign leaders and diplomats have made their way to Israel over the past couple of weeks. The main focus of concern is along Israel's northern border, where exchanges of gunfire between Israeli forces and the powerful Lebanese Shia militia, Hezbollah, have escalated day by day. Israel has deployed troops and armor to the border and taken the precaution of evacuating tens of thousands of civilians from vulnerable communities. Hezbollah is backed by Iran, which has warned that it might have to intervene if the situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate. For Israel, Hezbollah's stock of sophisticated missiles represents a much greater potential threat than Hamas. The U.S. has sent additional weaponry to Israel and deployed a carrier task force to the eastern Mediterranean as a powerful signal to Hezbollah and Iran. But while the violence of recent days is alarming, it doesn't yet seem as though Hezbollah has taken a definitive decision to join the fight. Is any food and fuel getting into Gaza? Caroline Kelly asks, regarding Israel's blockade of Gaza over the last 2 weeks, does this mean that there is literally no water, fuel, and electricity available to the people of Gaza? Middle East correspondent Tom Bateman, in Jerusalem, answers. Israel said it was imposing a complete siege on Gaza. The Energy Minister Israel Katz said after Hamas's attacks there would be no supply of power or water until the hostages were released, calling this humanitarian for humanitarian. Since 2006, Israel had already imposed a tight blockade, backed by Egypt, on Gaza after Hamas consolidated its grip on the territory. Israel said this was to stop weapons-making supplies getting in. But it meant life for ordinary citizens was made much tougher as Israel and Egypt controlled everything that went in and out, except for what reached Gaza via smuggling tunnels from Egypt. Now there's no access at all except for those few aid lorries getting over the border from Egypt since Saturday, and Israel allowing piped water for a few hours a day in eastern Khan Yunis. It means the only remaining sources of power and drinkable water inside Gaza are stocks from before this conflict, including private stores of diesel for generators, which can also power water filter systems in people's homes, remaining stocks of bottled water and private wells. This water is often polluted and needs to be filtered. Will Israel be able to rescue the hostages? From an anonymous emailer, how likely is it that Israel will be able to rescue the hostages taken by Hamas? Security correspondent Frank Gardner says, because of the very high number of hostages held in Gaza, more than 200, the odds on Israel being able to rescue all of them by force are not good. As we know, 2 hostages were released last Friday after mediation by Qatar, and another 2 were released on Monday. The Qataris believe more could follow, but some people are suggesting this could be a delaying tactic by Hamas to deter Israel from making its expected military incursion into Gaza. The Israelis have a lot of expertise in hostage rescue, and their Special Forces unit, Sayeret Matkal, has trained intensively for just such an operation. But they face a tough challenge. Some or all of the hostages are likely to be held underground in tunnels and bunkers, in some cases being moved around from one secret location to another. If their captors thought their hostages were on the verge of being rescued, they would quite possibly try to kill them first. So, any rescue operation will be immensely risky.